What up, beautiful babies? It's the Madden Curse Week 13 matchups predictions. We might get some right. We went 2-4 last week. Got myself right, and I got my lock right. So as long as you get the lock, then we're doing all right. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the first matchup. Myself versus Brent. Brent is the #1 record in the league at 10-2. I have the most points scored in the league. I actually just surpassed Brent. He had the lead all season, and he's still within just a handful of points. He could very easily take it back this week. Um, but the projected totals 125 for Brent to 153 on my side. You guys know I hate those projections, but I do like myself in the matchup. I'm currently on a 5-game winning streak. I mean, I've been averaging the highest points in the league for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And assuming the health of my players, we should keep it going. Let's see who we got. Justin Fields, he's questionable. If he does not play, I will be starting Deshaun Watson. Josh Jacobs, he's also questionable. He was questionable last week, but he didn't get questionable until Friday, and then played and had the greatest game ever for a running back. Now he's questionable all week, may not practice all week, but as long as he plays, that's all we need, right? So they clear him. He's playing. Joe Mixon cleared. He has not cleared concussion protocol. Still questionable, but if they clear him, he'll be playing. If they don't clear him, I'll be playing some IGP runs. So feeling okay there. The big one there is Josh Jacobs. I need Jacobs because I don't really, he doesn't really have a clear backup behind him. And I mean, my guy just put up 48 points. He's the man, so we need him. Amon St. Brown, Amari Cooper, Travis Kelsey, flexing Devontae Adams. Um, Brent, he's going to roll Mahomes, Henry. He's got A.J. Dillon in that starting lineup. We'll see. He's chasing last week's points. They are playing Chicago. It's a good matchup. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mark Andrews, and Chris Olave. Like I said, he's got a stacked team. I think I have the edge, assuming those 3 questionable guys that I listed are playing this week. So I'm picking myself first matchup. Second matchup, Jason versus Fat. Um, projected matchup 127 for Fat to 108 for Jason. Doesn't really matter for Fat. If Fat loses out and Dan wins out, he could lose the bye. But Dan would also need to get more points since best case scenarios they're going to have the same record. Probably not going to happen. Either way, Fat's a lock for the playoffs. Jason is 6-6, and he is not a lock for the playoffs. And if he were to lose this week, this would severely impact his season. He's got Tua Tagovailoa at the starting lineup. Kyler Murray must be on a bye because he hates playing Tua. Antonio Gibson and Michael Carter are both questionable. Terry McLaurin, Jamar Chase is in the lineup, 18 points. Foster projected. Foster Moreau and Miles Sanders. I didn't see any Cardinals, so yeah, they must be on bye. Kyler, DeAndre, Rondell Moore, and DJ Moore. Yeah. So he really needs Jamar Chase this week. Fat's got Joe Burrow, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, Gerald Everett, and David Montgomery. I do get the edge to Fat on this one. Um, if Jamar Chase plays and he's fully healthy, he could win the matchup for Jason, but he hasn't played since he traded Devontae Adams for him. Interesting. So going with Fat there. Third matchup, 3-9, Trent. He earned his name back versus Jordan 6-6, the bed pooper. This is where it starts. Jordan 6-6. I believe he's got a playoff spot. If he were to win out, he'd lock that playoff spot down. But he's not going to. He's going to poop this bed, and he's going to start it with the second to last week of the season versus Trent, who's projected to score 107 to Jordan's 111. Jordan has Lamar Jackson, Aaron Jones, Jeff Wilson Jr., Michael Pittman, Treylon Burks, Pat F., and Najee Harris in the flex, who is questionable. Nothing on buy on Trenton's side. Derek Carr, DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, T.J. Hockenson, Chris Godwin. Um, Projections are close. I actually think I like Trenton's side a little bit better. Garrett Wilson went off last week. I mean, Higgins, Wilson, and Godwin is a crazy wide receiver combo. And then you forget this guy drafted Jamar Chase too. This team, man, if there were no injuries, this would have been a fun team. Um, this week though, I like it. I think he's gonna win. And the interesting thing is, if Trenton can get Trenton is not a lock for the Secco. He's 3-9. If he were to win this week, if the season were to end right now and everyone had the same amount of time the wins, let's just say that Trenton is not last in points. So if he were to get another victory, he could very potentially get out of that Sacco. Nobody wants that Sacco, and it would be great to see you get out of it. So I'm rolling with Trent. He gonna get the W. He fighting to get out of that bottom, and Jordan's pooping. Marshall versus Scott is our next matchup. This is a big matchup for the playoffs. Marshall is basically he's 5-7. He has to win out to get in. He's got Jalen Hurts, Alvin Kamara, who's questionable, Latavius Murray, Debo Samuel, who's questionable, A.J. Brown, George Kittle, Cordell Patterson. Scott's projected to score 116. He's 6-6, currently in the playoff picture. Josh Allen, McCaffrey, who's questionable, Tony Pollard, Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, Dawson Knox, and Jacoby Myers, who is questionable. I do like Scott in the matchup, assuming McCaffrey plays. I just think he's got a little bit more depth. I mean, McCaffrey Pollard is a nice combo, and then Allen's playing again. So now you got Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf there. Now he gets to flex, a guy like Jacoby Myers as opposed to having him in his wide receivers 2 slot. And then, of course, he's still got Josh freaking Allen. So I'm rolling with Scott. Um, that would really help Scott out for his playoff run. Second to last matchup is Alex versus Dan. Dan's projected to win 121 to 113. Dan is 7-5. He's in third place in the league. Alex is 4-8. All but mathematically eliminated. Probably mathematically eliminated. I just don't do math well. Dan's got Kirk Cousins, Ramondre Stevenson, Kenneth Walker, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Taysom Hill, Travis Etienne, who is questionable. And I'm not buying it. They've been saying he's going to be fine. I'm not buying it. They've been saying he's going to be fine a little too much, if you know what I mean. There's worry there. That was the same foot that he had to have surgery on last year. Just last year. You know, you know. So we'll see. Alex's side, Geno Smith, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb versus Houston. That's your weekly 20-point game for running backs. Brandon Ayuk, Christian Watson, David Njoku, who's questionable, and George Pickens. Something about this. I actually like Alex in this matchup. Um, Dan's got some tough matchups. Ramondre Stevenson's going up against the Bills. He's more of a pass catching back, so he'll probably still have a good game. Kenneth Walker is going against the Rams. They used to have a good defense, or at least a good run defense. As far as I know, they still have that big guy in the middle, Aaron Donald. I know offensively they're not really very good anymore, but I would think it should be a little hard to run. Jefferson's got the Jets, and then CeeDee Lamb's going against the Colts. Should have Stephon Gilmore shadowing him. So, I just think that's a lot of tough matchups. Whereas, Nick Chubb's playing the Texans. Geno Smith gets to throw against the Rams. Probably a little bit better. Aaron Donald's not. He can't play all the positions, right? So he's usually closer to them running backs. And then Ayuk versus Miami, Watson versus Chicago. Those should be big matchups. So I'm gonna pick Alex. He screwed me last time I did, so he'll probably do it again. I'm not gonna pick him as my luck. Um, the last matchup of the week is Frank versus JT. Man, look at these projections. 101.42, 101. Frank is 4-8. JT is 6-6. Frank is the other guy who's in danger of this Secco. Basically, Frank has to get a win to avoid it. If Trent were to tie Frank in record, he's got more points currently. So the way it breaks down, if you're tied in record, whoever has the least amount of points is going to be the Sacco. So if two guys are at the bottom, same record, that's what we're going to look at is the points. And whoever's got the least, they are the Sacco. So he needs this to stay out of there. JT needs this to get over 500 and get in the playoffs, baby. He's 6-6 right now. I think he's currently got the 6th seed, or at least tied for the 6th seed, something like that. It's going to come down to some form of a tie in that last seed, maybe 2 seeds. So it's all about stacking them points these last 2 weeks while we can. JT's rolling Justin Herbert, Zeke. He's got Leonard Fournette in that lineup. He's questionable. Adam Thielen, Mike Evans, Dalton Schultz, and Gus Edwards. Frank, Tyler Heineke. Oh, Taylor Heineke. My bad. Shit. Motherfucker play for the Panthers. I should know. Devin Singletary, Jonathan Taylor, Stephon Diggs, Michael Gallup, Robert Tunyon, and Jamal Williams. I do like Frank. I'm sorry. I like JT in the matchup. I think he's got an edge at quarterback and running back. I do think Frank probably has the edge there with Mr. Jonathan Taylor, but Zeke's been in there vulturing touchdowns. Leonard Fournette, who know? I don't know if he's the starting running back or not. To be frank, but we'll see what happens. And if he doesn't play, Gus Edwards will move to the running back spot, and he'll flex Tyler Boyd or somebody like that. Either way, this being a very close matchup, I definitely see that. I mean, if Frank pretty much has Taylor and Diggs, if those two or one of those guys were to just have a Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon type of game, he's going to win it. But if they stay in line, stay pretty close to their projections, I see JT taking this. So that's my prediction there. I need to give you folks a lock of the week because I didn't give you one. And we will. And you know what? I don't know that I've ever done this. Let's look. Let's see if we've ever done it. Come on now. We've never fucking done it. Trenton, you're my lock of the week. Let's go. Madden curse.